Alright, it's that time of year again. I'm a little late this year, but I don't care. It's time for the 4-year update for this server. DoinkCraft, DoinkCraft, whatever the heck you want to call it. This is still a spawn. It's still incomplete. I still haven't gotten around to finishing it. However, I did finish the interior of this little bit. So we're going to go ahead and check in here. And there's like an inside garden greenhouse thing. This is, of course, a living room. Table situation, kitchen, got a little balcony, and oh, and a loo. That's British for bathroom. And then a bedroom. Need to get it to daytime anyway, so this works out. Little view of the swamp, everyone's favorite view. It's like storage, I'm not even gonna bother. And it's just stations for the roof. Okay, so there's that. I added a door. I haven't finished that either, even. But this is kind of a couple of the bigger additions. You kind of saw that, but we'll come to that in a second. This is a statue that was added. I made this. It's the founder of New Doink City. He slew a skeleton. That's why that skeleton head was there last year. It's been moved. As I said, that was the plan the whole time. Was to make this guy. It was exhausting. He's got a little diamond sword there. He's got himself a Doink. I guess there's a spider inside of it, which that's something. Up. And then his eyes are a bit red and cloudy, if you can see that. And he's standing on a pizza because my friend, I showed Bert this, and I was like, I think I need to put something under his feet, but I don't really know what. There's not really a lot of space. And he said I should put a plaza under it, but I misread it. So I put a pizza under it. So that's how that happened. And that's that. Additionally, this was our creeper farm. It's still our creeper farm. I stole this concept from Scar, who I watch or whatever. I don't do near as good of a job, but it kind of looks like fire coming out of the rocket. At least that's the purpose of it. And this is just a firework rocket, as you can see displayed in my hand. It looks like that. That's the AFK area. It's actually the same building, just surrounded by this rocket. However, because of the AutoCrafter update, I have added some things. I've never heard the cats in here. We are in the clouds, which is a bit cringe, but I don't normally play with sound. But anyway, hopefully this cloud gets out of our way. Okay, so with the AutoCrafter, I have set this up. These shulkers are, this is the location where you can deposit paper, and I just put those in here. And we don't really want shulkers in there because that's not gonna work. One second. Okay. So paper goes in there. And then this little AutoCrafter here. God, maybe you need to add more scaffolding. Anyway, this AutoCrafter makes rockets. And let's see. Yeah, so there's gunpowder in there. It's like stacking up, and then it's making a rocket every now and then. This clock is kind of going going around and around, and then it is also hooked up to a shulker loader. That's what this mechanic thingy is. And then it is loading them into shulkers. So if you need rockets, we have them. And there's some right here. That's when I... Anyway. There's some overflow paper and some other stuff. So if you need to fill more paper in, grab out of this and throw it there. I should maybe label it. It's okay. We have enough rockets. We don't really need more. So nobody actually needs to camp it unless they feel like it. Alright. So then that's that. One second, let me smack into that real quick. Okay, and last year we saw the bones of this tower, and I believe it's either complete or on its way to being complete now. I think he plans to add something to the roof of it. But it's a nice copper and black stone towie with an interesting shape. Additionally, I added a tape feeder to the gradient tower. So now it rainbows, but unloading chunks makes pistons go grrr. So, but yeah, so now we have a rainbow beam. I might fix that and make it like less finicky, but whatever. Additionally, inside the smelters changed a little bit. I kind of decked out the quenching tank a little bit. Enderman grief is still infuriating. I decorated the interior a little bit. I made some doorways. Before it was just kind of a hole inside of a stone. So there's a ceiling. You can see the fire going into the water and it quenching into stone, which I think is a nice little touch. And then the exteriors got all decorated and stuff. And then in here, I should probably replace this dirt at some point because it's kind of pointless. But is the kelp farm that I'm pretty sure I showed last time. I don't know how much detail I showed it in, but I'm not going to go into it. But this is hooked up to smelters and an auto crafter. So we have basically limitless kelp blocks. And what that chest is doing is it's going around and filling these with kelp. And since it's full, it's kind of just like, what do I do? Yeah. But it's filling those so that way we always have fuel in the super smelters so that it's completely self-sufficient because it has the kelp farm on top. It feeds into this stuff, makes the kelp blocks, and then the kelp blocks feed into here. So if you ever need to smelt anything, you never really have to worry about fuel or anything like that. Which is kind of cute. Show this off real quick. Last year, one of our intrepid builders went on a trip to Japan while making this building, and miraculously must still be on the trip because it's still not complete. I don't know. I guess he just lives in Japan now. So, you know. What else do we have over here? We added a couple more buildings. This one's kind of dookie, and I might either destroy it. I think realistically it just kind of needs some help. So I'm probably going to leave it, but it just needs help. So this is kind of really loud. I'll explain it in a second. Okay, so what that is a farming XP grinding situation. So, like I've explained, basically every year we have these skills, and farming is one of the ones I've struggled with a lot. because I can't AFK it, I kind of have to like wait for wheat to grow, and that's cringe. Or I could, anyway. But this is kind of a way I can do like an auto mining situation. Because I have observers and pistons, not pistons, and dispensers, and you can see the XP going up very slowly, but I can do an F3T and have that going just like an auto stone generator situation. So that's one way to get your farming up. The bamboo kind of is worse. I think it goes up faster, actually. Maybe it is better. Anyway. I plan to make a big-ass bone meal thing, to feed this, because it takes 1,000,000 bone meal to be, like, reasonably decent. So I'm probably going to put a bone something back there, even though Bert's got the moss thing there. I might just make a super moss bone meal farming thingy. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, this... hard to tell. It's not really a good street view kind of build, but this is a shulker. Whoa. Guess what it has inside of it? Shulker boxes. And it is also hooked up to an auto crafter, which is currently not working because it doesn't have chests in it, because making chests is annoying. So what I really need to do is make an auto crafter that makes chests and put the chest into the thing from that auto crafter, and probably have a bamboo farm that feeds into that, but whatever. It's not that. Nobody will never use this many shoulders. Like, we're not that. And if we need more, it takes 3 seconds to throw a stack of chests in there. Since the last year, we've had the, I don't know what update this was, but it introduced the armadillos. Hello. I meant to grab one of you earlier, but that's okay. And the armadillos have, along with another update, have introduced a mechanic we can abuse to make really tiny and very efficient XP farms. And so, because of that, I have created a gas station. Let me show off the sign. It's XP, get it? It's like BP, but with an X. And XP is like, you know, experience points, so that's cool. This is the roof. I think it's nifty, because it looks like I have things on it. And then these are like the gas pumps. And then I built a car that doesn't go anywhere. And then right here's the trash can. And this leads into the homeless man's house. So, you know, he steals from that trash can. There's lore. We have lore. Can you believe it? Alright. And then this is the gas station. So they introduced two kind of things. That's going to be a little annoying, so I'm going to try to back up. Where you can burn a lairs for XP, or you can wither flower armadillos for XP. They added the splash potion of investing, so once something takes damage, it creates silverfish. And basically you have those two options for a compact XP farm. You can see this one's smaller than this one. But this one is out of order, because if you don't turn off the fire, if you leave and like reload the chunks, they take a little bit of damage each time. And they just eventually die off. Normally they out-heal the damage, but some weird mechanic causes that, and I don't have the patience to set it up to have the fire turn off. So I'm just going to tear this out. But the armadillos works great, and you can see my wings need fixed, so I'm gonna fix them. And the way we do that is we grab this sword. I need to light these up. I just put these signs here, like, right before recording. I'll light them up before anybody gets to see it. And then you press the button. And it splash potions of weaknesses of them. And then you get these silverfish. And I'm gonna turn that down. And then you just swipe. Swipe. And my elytra is basically mended. Let's see, let's get my axe healed. You kind of, I mean, you can, You can't really spam, because if you spam, you're going to break this armor stand. What you want is about a swipe per second. So when you're swiping, you see how that sword icon comes back? Once that's filled, you can swipe again. But realistically, you kind of just wait for them to bunch up, and then you swipe. Because if you're swiping fast, you're killing like one at a time. So you're not really doing a lot for yourself. Let's heal my pickaxe. And this Splash Potion of Weakness has a 3-minute timer on it. So they'll keep producing silverfish for you pretty much as long as you need. And if you need to do it again, just press the button again. But I've never once needed more than 3 minutes of this. I guess let me let this build up a little bit now that everything's healed. And then you can see how much XP you're actually getting. I'm at level 108. You saw a pretty large jump. Like, it cooks. Like, I guess I probably should have died before this, just so I could show off, like, how fast. You can get to 30 pretty quick. I think the Enderman farm is still, like, better, but it's not by a lot. And realistically, this is just to repair tools and shit anyway. It's not really to crank you up to 72 or something so you can enchant a full set of gear. It's all about repairing. Alright. And then leave your sword and walk away. Those will despawn. They'll stop doing the thing. It'll be fine. So next, just show off a couple updates to the Redstone Museum. I filled out a couple books inside, like a handful, but I haven't finished all of it. Since the autocrafter's been updated, we don't need that. Oh, I guess I was using it to look at the innards. Maybe I do need it. This is a traditional autocrafter setup. I have a chest, a shulker, and a barrel here. Just to illustrate, you can use any of them, because it doesn't really matter. Same with this, you can have anything. But essentially, you have a redstone clock here that's kind of going in circles, triggering all of this stuff to do its thing. And then you can... I don't think I'm going to explain the whole crafter situation. Basically, well, it's like a crafting table. You make it match the crafting table. You put your stuff here, it will fill in here. You can put it here, it'll fill in here. It's going to fill in, I think, in order from left to right. But it's pretty quick. It's basically just hopper speed going in here. So you can do a lot of things with that. This will make basically everything but cake. If you want a tutorial, they're on the internet, and if you want to just look at this and dissect it, you can do that too. And then there's the compactor. That'll take... Oh, here's making paper. That'll take 9 items and turn them into a full block. And so you can see bamboo's making bamboo. So yeah, it'll do basically anything simple. If it's one singular item, this setup will make it into a thing. So you can do it with paper, you can do it with ingots, you can do it with, you know, that kind of stuff. This is my own design. It's a take on this, but it goes at super speed. It goes as fast as basically it can at hopper speed. Whereas this has to take into consideration this clock, which activates all of this. This just simply, if there's something in it, it goes. I don't have any wood on me to throw a chest in there to show it off, but trust me, it just kind of goes at hopper speed. And this goes at, like, it has to have 64 in these spots before it'll actually produce, produce anything. So it needs to get to like 63 or 64, and then it spits out the block, and then it has to be getting filled up to max capacity. This doesn't care. It'll go all the way down to 1 if you have the right amount of everything in it. and it'll just keep going and going and going. And then what happens if you do this though, versus the clock, is like you can have situations where it desyncs and then you have like something like that. But it's just a faster way to do it. And the way that this works is basically I cap these off, which I don't know why, but it makes them tick faster. I don't know. It's dope. I discovered it on accident. And this is a shulker loader. Google it. Something else I have incomplete is this Blitzball Stadium. This is a 100 by 100 ball of water. If you've played Final Fantasy X, you know what Blitzball is. If you don't, it's basically soccer or rugby in a giant ball of water. So the plan is to have, like, let's say it's 2v2. You have one person with loyalty, one person with Riptide. Your Riptide person might be like running the ball and trying to hit this target. It works better if you have night vision because you can like see better through water. And then the other one, you're just trying to like attack or whatever. And there's going to be stands and down below and blah, 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 blah. But honestly, this alone is pretty sick. There's been a minor update over here, I guess I can show off. I've started a little port area, and this is going to get tore down because it doesn't really fit the vibe. But this is going to be a little rich neighborhood next to that giant ass castle, pretty much. Maybe not rich, but it's like a lord land or whatever. Now we gotta go to the Nether, I think. I don't know if this was in the last one. We'll swing by just to be sure, but this is Ballin's new place, and then the yacht. I'm pretty sure these were in the last one, but I didn't directly see them. Some modern homes and a yacht. There's a 2B castle over here happening, but it's 2B, so we'll just kind of wait on it. I think I have like three more things to show. So we're almost done. Where the hell am I at? Alright. So the gold farm's been updated because auto crafters exist. Hooray. So this is what it looked like before, I think, probably. Maybe I updated it a little bit. But basically, I definitely changed this to activate based off a button press. It goes around in a circle, and then it makes these complete the circuit in a timely manner, basically. You can see here we have gold blocks. This hasn't been camped in a while, so it might be pretty empty of gold. Yeah, so these guys are getting fed gold, and I'll explain how that works. Right here, once they, these get stuck, unfortunately. Design flaw, maybe I can fix it. I haven't, it doesn't matter. The way these work is these guys are spitting out their garbage. They're shooting it up this elevator. It's going here. This is checking this bookcase to see if it's a book. If it's a book, it's going in here. So I can either disenchant it or combine it for skills. And then same thing with this. It's checking for a potion. If it's a potion or like water, it'll go here. And I can use that to get my healing level up. And that's what that's for, basically. And then everything else goes down here, through here, and then into the item filters. If any of these are full or anything I don't want, it goes into here and then down into here where it gets thrown into lava and burns alive. Now, the real thing you're kind of probably maybe a little bit curious about is if we go all the way to the top, because it's easier to start there, is I've hooked up auto crafters, actually I think compactors mostly, in this setup. So gold comes down here, and then it has two options. It starts with the left side of the chest before it goes to the right side of the chest. So it is filling, it is all the way filled here, and then since that is filled, it's going to start going down here and blah, blah, blah. But it starts here because the first thing I want it to make before it goes on is I want it to make golden carrots. This is currently off, that's why it's not cranking, but I want it off because I want to get more gold nuggets. And I have enough golden carrots. So basically once it gets gold, it gets more gold and makes more carrots. I might just need carrots. Yeah, I need to load carrots into it, but I don't really need golden carrots because this is it after I've emptied it. So once it makes golden carrots and there's like excess nuggets, the nuggets come down here to this compactor where it turns these into ingots. And I should probably turn this on. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. It's not important. It makes nuggets, and then the nuggets, once it these nuggets get spilled out. They get spilled out here and are fed into these little guys who are like, you know, the gold guys. And then once that gets full, all the excess gold ingots that are, you know, past this come into here where they make golden blocks. And you can see I have a lot of golden blocks. So, you know, if the more I camp it, the more I get, but I have basically infinite of all of these things, and I can get more whenever I want, really, which is cool. Gold farms are great. Really, really strong farm. Okay. Froglight farm, pretty sure I've showed that. If I haven't, it's a froglight farm. Figure it out. Try to make this transition not too terribly far or long, or rather. So the next thing we're gonna see is I came up with a way to farm AFK wind charges, kind of. It's like not fully AFK, but it's mostly AFK. And also not exactly foolproof. These guys get out sometimes. But I think I need to fly to get in. Hello. But the way this works is you go in here. Hello. And then you sit in this corner, and every half hour, these guys spawn up. This is a bad example because these guys have been transported here, so they're not like... Can you go away? Check and jockey. Alright. So they're not like instantly teleporting. But if you sit here in a half an hour, a breeze is going to spawn up, or two breezes, and they're going to shoot at you, and they're going to hit themselves into these portals because they're stupid, and that's how that works. Once they're there, they'll come over here, and then they will fall down here. Sometimes they sit up here. I got to knock them down, is what it is. And then I come back through here. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. And then I come back through here, and then... Oh, didn't mean to do that. And then I drop down here. And then I mortar them. It's a bit not ideal, but you can get you can just sit there for hours and they stack up. Rather than, I think some of the farms I've seen, it like you do like an ender pearl stasis chamber every half hour or something, and it like brings you back. And I would rather just AFK. So this is a decent AFK option. I don't have a sword. That would have been easier with a sword. I put my sword at the gas station, but it's a really nifty design. We have a lot of breeze rods back there now because I wanted them, and now we have them. One last thing to show. I had a friend get on the server, and as people do, they want to... Oh, fuck. Are we gonna have to find this? Okay. As as people do, they don't want to interrupt or interfere with what's going on the server. So instead, they go a million fucking blocks away and start a new village that goes nowhere. So this is John's house. Sorry, that was more negative than I meant it to be. This is John's house. It's got an enchantment table. Got a villi farm. The reason I'm negative is specifically because I feel like it makes more sense just to build like a couple thousand blocks away at most, like, because then it can still connect and you can still be kind of close. But it's cool. I get it. And then this is the chicken farm I made. There's the guy who went to Japan and never came back. I guess he's back now. Basically, in there's a bunch of chickens, and every time they lay an egg, it shoots out here and becomes a chicken. I did it because I thought it was funny. And that's an iron farm. I'm not going to show that off. And then this is my house over here. And kind of the main reason I'm showing this area off is because of this house, because I'm pretty proud of it. Like little kitchen area, kind of. There's not really kitchen stuff now I'm looking at it, but it was Christmas time when I did this house, so I made a Christmas tree upside down, kind of, which is cool. Little lounge, storage with some super smelters and super, whatever the fuck. So I did a bed couch. This stuff, nice view. And then I have the ship. Little greenhouse. Is that it? Did I show everything? Balcony, hot tub. And that is that. That's the year update. If I missed anything, sue me, and I'll see you next year.